Listen, this has nothing to do with anything, but I just finally pulled my Bookstagram mug out of a box that it has been in since I moved home at the beginning of COVID. So it's been in this box for almost a year. But like, look at how cute she is. I missed her so much. I'm so glad to have her back in my life. The tea that is in it is too hot for me to drink right now, but we are here. We are ready to go. Hello. How's it going? Welcome to the corner of the internet that I happen to exist in. I'm so glad you found me. Today, I'm just hanging out, I'm drinking some tea, I'm wearing a Doty sweatshirt, which, you know, we love that for us, and I'm gonna call myself out because I have some books, some series specifically I want to talk about today, but I have some books on my bookshelf that I have had quite literally since probably 2015 that I have not read, and these are series that I feel like I would enjoy, and I don't know why I haven't read them yet, so I am putting this out on the internet. I'm calling myself out publicly to try to persuade myself to read them, because I'm afraid that if I don't make a post being like, these are books I want to read this year, I'll never read them. So here I am, this is me calling myself out. Let's just get started. First things first, I just want to talk about the fact that in 2020, I did not read like a single fantasy series. I read The Winter's Curse, which doesn't have any fantastical elements in it, but I did read that full trilogy. And I read Six of Crows, the duology, which does have fantasy in it, so I guess that kind of counts as a fantasy series, but I feel like it has been a long time since I like fully committed to a fantasy series. So we'll see how it goes if in 2021 I actually end up reading these books. That is the goal, but we'll see if it actually happens. Alright, y'all, let's just start with this one and get it the heck out of the way. I own the first 4 books of the Mortal Instruments, and I have not read a single one. I did at one point in time read the first like 100 pages of City of Bones, and then I just gave up. Will this be the year that I read these books? I have owned these quite literally for 6 years probably, and I'm just like I'm afraid. I am afraid because of how much hype this fandom has gotten. I'm also afraid because there are so many books in this canon. Like, I'm sorry, there's what, like 6 or 7 books in the original Mortal Instruments, and then there's like 3 spin-off trilogies? That is so much content, and like that is a little bit scary to me, but maybe if I just start with the first book, it will all work out. I'm not really going to talk much about what any of these books are about because I don't really know a lot about what these books are about. I just know that they're books that I should read at some point because I'm a mess. Here, this one will be fun because I don't actually know a lot about the Mortal Instruments at all. This is my take on City of Bones based on what I have seen about it throughout my time on the internet. It takes place in New York City, I think. This girl named Clary is an artist, and suddenly she starts drawing these weirdly shaped things, which you later find out are runes, which like give shadow hunters powers, but she's not a shadow hunter. She's like some mortal, mundane person. And that is literally all I know about it. There's like 2 worlds. One of them exists like under New York City. This could literally all be wrong, but this is my understanding of the Mortal Instruments. I mean, genuinely, it sounds like a really good time. And I think the first time I tried reading this, I just thought that Clary was really whiny, which is why I stopped reading it. But listen, I only gave it 100 pages. It's quite literally 6 years later now, so I'm hoping that maybe if I start this, I might actually enjoy it this time around. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Maybe someday I will read this series. It's been out for so long. It might, like it, part of me just feels like it might be too late to jump on this bandwagon now. We'll see. I own the first 4 books. See, if I only owned the first one, I wouldn't feel as bad about it. But like, this is so many. So the next series that I want to talk about, I literally do not know a single thing about, to be completely honest. I know that it's fantasy. I know that the series is now complete. All of the books are out. That's it. That is quite literally the only thing I know about it. And it is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I own the first 2 books. The covers are completely different now. The series is complete, and I just think that it might be time for me to read them. And I feel like this is one that I will genuinely enjoy because I don't know a single thing about them, and I know that there's a lot of hype about these ones, but it's not as like aggressive and scary as the Mortal Instruments. Like, that is a fandom that I am kind of like afraid of in a way because they all seem so intense about it. But this one, on the other hand, genuinely just seems like people enjoying some nice high fantasy, and that, really, what more can you ask for? I read like 4 whole words of the blurb, and I already love it. The society is inspired by ancient Rome, and that in and of itself is like enough to make me excited, but it literally said, I don't remember their names, I could open it and read it, but I'm lazy and that makes too much sense. It literally said, so-and-so is a slave, so-and-so is a soldier, neither of them are free. And that sounds like the beginning of a dystopian type overthrow storyline, and I am here for that. And again, I am sorry that I'm giving terrible descriptions in this video. I am the type of person who I don't like to know a lot about the books that I'm reading before I read them. I don't know why I'm like that. You'd think you'd want to know a little bit about what's gonna happen, but typically I like to go in almost completely blind. Like, I want someone to say, read this book, give me no context to what it's about, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. But I mean, most of the time I go in based solely off of like a booktube or bookstagram recommendation or like a blurb on Goodreads that I've seen. Honestly, I'll link the Goodreads to all of these books down below, so if you want better descriptions than I am giving you, please feel free to check them out. They will give you way more information than I'm going to. So the next series that I want to talk about is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. This is another series where I own all 3 in the trilogy, and I also own the first one in like the sequel Noah Shaw trilogy. I don't really know how I ended up with this many of them. This is a series that actually my sister read all of them and she enjoyed them, but I just have not gotten around to reading them. And honestly, I don't know if these are fantasy or not. I'm pretty sure that there's something to do with like the dead and or ghosts, but I don't know if there's any like actual magic in these. I just read the little blurb inside here and it sounds like Mara Dyer was in an accident and wakes up in the hospital without any memory of what happened, and it kind of just goes from there. I think that's all there really is to say about this one. I own them. I haven't read them. Maybe someday I will. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to be better about reading books that I already own in 2021. That really is like one of my biggest goals for this year, is to just read more books that I already own. Because they're already here. Just read them. You already have them, you fool. Here I have, and these I know for a fact are not fantasy. I'm pretty sure that they're sci-fi, but they're making their way onto the list anyway. It is Illuminae and Gemina, and I think there's a 3rd one in this series that I don't own. And honestly, again, don't know literally anything about this book, but I was just flipping through it. I want to see if I can do this so that you can see if you haven't read these yet. But like, it's not like a regular book. Like, what the heck is this? I'm so overwhelmed and like super intrigued by like all of the stuff that's in here. Like, especially towards the end, there's like all sorts of little chart things, and like it's just written really interestingly. Like, there's a countdown clock looking thing in here. I don't really know what is going on. I don't know, again, a single thing about this book, but I am suddenly very intrigued. This one is maybe now at like the top of my list because it seems like one that would be really quick to read because of the way that it's written. It's not like in full chapters or structured like the normal way that you would anticipate a book to be structured. I am gonna look up a little bit of a description for this one because I feel like I can't keep leaving you with nothing. Oh my goodness, it's about an alien invasion! It takes place in the year of 2575. That's so far from now. Okay, so listen. It sounds like there's an alien invasion. It takes place like 500 years into the future from now. And there's a plague, which honestly might be a little bit close to home now with the whole COVID pandemic shenanigans. But it sounds really interesting. And I said this in my January wrap-up video because I read a sci-fi book and I hadn't read sci-fi in a really long time. And I think that I want to read way more sci-fi, and this feels like a great place for me to dive into. So this one, to be honest, really, I'm really intrigued by this right now. I have other books that I'm reading that I need to finish reading, but these might be at the top of my list after I finish what I'm currently reading. So we love that for me. It sounds so good. What the heck? How have I owned these for so long? Why am I like this? Why haven't I read them yet? Alright, I think I have one more book that I want to talk about that is fantasy, that again I've owned for 800 years, and it is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I'm aware, again, that I'm pretty sure the covers are completely different now than this, so it's fine. I was watching Carrie Can Read the other day. She's one of my new favorite booktubers. I'm kind of obsessed with her. It might have been her January wrap-up video or something. I can't remember. But she talked about how much she enjoyed the Daughter of Shadow and Bone trilogy and how it really was just your typical YA fantasy book, and it just sounded really interesting, and it kind of sparked a new interest for me because this is one that I have thought about reading so many times. Anytime I'm kind of in a reading slump or I don't really know what to read next, this one is usually in my top 2 or 3 books where I'm ooh, I might read that one or that one or that one, and somehow I just have not picked it up yet. After hearing her talk more about it and how much she enjoyed the trilogy, it really kind of gave me more motivation. Ooh, it's about monsters, so that's fun. Again, I don't know a single thing about this book, and I'm not gonna look anything up because 1, I don't want to know, and 2, I can't be bothered. This is gonna be such a terrible video, I can't wait. Shout out to Carrie Can Read for re-sparking my interest in this trilogy. Maybe I'll put this on my March TBR. I have a bunch of books that I'm reading in February and that I want to read, so we'll see when I get around to any of these. Alright friends, I think that is the end of this video. Thank you for letting me call myself out to all of you so that now I feel a little bit more accountable to actually read these books. If one of these books or series is one that you are really passionate about, please comment down below and tell me what you love about them. I want to feel inspired to read these books, and hearing from you guys always brightens my day and makes me feel so much more compelled to keep reading and keep doing what I'm doing. So, that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you again with another video soon. Bye!